Welcome back to Meet You at Breakfast. I am Ben, and we have the full crew here. We have Brian, Dylan, and Julia talk about episode 7 of season 4 of the Traitors US. And the season's been chugging along. I think this is, this was a heavily hyped up episode. I think that this was probably the best episode of the season. I don't know if the best of all time, but it's probably maybe like top 5 or 10, I would say.
Yeah. Definitely. They're all progressively getting better and better as each episode gets dropped. So I can only imagine what the rest of the season is going to be like.
I'm very excited to finally make breakfast for the first time this season. That's nice. I've been dying to talk about this season because I love it.
No, we need to do a round of applause like Dorinda got when she Dylan survived the night.
Yeah.
Yes, very unfortunately, Dorinda is still in this game. She's there.
Yeah. What are your thoughts so far on everything? We haven't really gotten your
catch us up, Dylan.
Points.
Yeah, so I guess a quick recap of everything I have going on, not on my watch right now. Big Rob C fan, or Rob R, Rip Rob C. Rob C is dead. Rob R is my new obsession with reality TV. He has me in a chokehold, and I'm willingly staying in that chokehold. I think he is far and away the best player on the season, the best gamer. Even among other gamers, he is the best gamer. Really impressed there. Really impressed that this season was able to follow up last season and create, which I think overall has been a very entertaining season for different reasons than season 3 was. I think obviously the Traitors are playing a much better game this season than they did in season 3, whereas vice versa. I think the Faithfuls are playing a much worse game this season than they did in season 3. Really enjoying it. Like, I'm surprised because I was not as hyped for this cast as I was for season 3. That the cast alone was the only reason I got into Traitors for season 3 to begin with. So I'm very happy about that. I have, along with Rob R, right there, he's Love Island, right? That was where he was from. Never imagined myself falling in love with another man from a show called Love Island, but here I am, rooting for him all the way. Loved Ron. Very sad to see Ron go, but I kind of think that story that has come from Traitors with Ron and Rob R, and also some of the not so good things that we've learned from Ron since he's been talking in his media post being cast out. Some of that drama has been great. Obviously, this episode was fantastic. I agree. I don't think it was necessarily better than the buildup we had with Boston Rob and Bob the Drag Queen, but it was still, I thought, very, very satisfying. I thought it was great, episode 2, beginning to end. Kind of just to catch us up to this episode now. So, I'm psyched to talk about it. I was a pro Michael Rappaport guy, but I think that the game itself is better for him not being in it. But I do miss some of his just ridiculous. Like I think I compared it to going to the zoo and seeing an ape throw feces at the wall was pretty much what Michael Rappaport was, and sometimes that's fun. So. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this season a lot. I have high hopes for the end of it. I think that war has been declared in the turret, so that's going to be really fun. And I'm glad to finally be sitting down at breakfast with my friends to talk about it.
Nice. Now, controversial question for you: do you miss Tom Sandoval, or are you happy with your Rob R. Rappaport kind of vibe instead?
No, I missed Tom Sandoval every single day. I don't see him either on TikTok
and you're the only one.
My ideal reality is going to be to have Tom Sandoval, Dylan Efron, Rob R. I'm keeping Mike Rappaport out of it. Maybe Ron. I want to get those 4 in a room together just to see if they can solve world peace or something like that. Maybe can do that.
Well,
that's
Tom
fun.
Sandoval will try to start singing to everyone, and I think he'll get voted off the island real quick. So,
waiting for Tom Sandoval to become local around here for a show. I think I missed the last chance I have, but I won't allow that to happen again.
Yeah. I mean, I'm more of a Rob girl. I loved him on Love Island, and he's stealing my heart again. I think when you texted us the other day that you're getting like fed a bunch of Rob content, I'm like, as you should. I mean, he's something that he's a person that everyone can appreciate his hotness, and like everything that he does is just like everyone's like, yep, it tracks. He's hot. Can't say anything else. Yeah.
been a quite unique experience for my relationship with my wife as we send each other Rob R thirst traps on TikTok all the time. So that's been
It's a
very
healthy
interesting.
dynamic.
That's a healthy
I feel.
marriage. Yeah.
As a heterosexual male, this
Yeah.
is something I have not quite experienced with a reality TV star before, and I think a lot of it too is she, like, I just think
Everyone's
he's been that
captivated
good.
by him. He's just a captivating person.
I think
And, like,
a lot of it, on because I didn't watch Love Island. A lot of it, on the face of
Mhm.
it, is you think that he is just this, this big, handsome, dumb idiot, but he's not. I think all
Mhm.
his moves he's made to this point have been great. He's very likable. He's established himself socially in this game, in a game where not a lot of people remember they are playing a game. I think that he's doing very, very well. So I think
Mhm.
that's part of it too. I think I am like so very surprised. Because at first, when he was made a traitor, I was just like, "Oh, this is like, I don't know how this is going to go." But I think the traitor dynamics up till this episode has been great, and I
Mhm.
think what has happened in this episode naturally has made it. We'll talk about it. I thought it was the right move, and I think that it's made things more interesting. And I think it's risen Rob above being, just a handsome face who's playing a game now. I think that he is generally maybe the best player in this game. And I think he's outplaying, the so-called gamers that are in this season.
Mhm.
And I think that alone has been the most impressive part for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think Natalie's the last gamer left, right?
And
Yeah, they've just been
Yeah.
getting decimated left and right.
Yeah, and, like, she almost got it axed this episode too. Like, she was up there for sure.
she is very lucky, Jam put on the
Yeah.
performance he did, because I think
Yeah.
that this was actually arguably one of the worst performances by anyone in this season with Natalie in this episode. It was pretty bad,
Yeah.
which made me sad because, Natalie's been kind of in the background for me, and she was my favorite reality character that was on this season going into it. And I think that her performance has been pretty lackluster, and I think this episode kind of just killed any remaining hype I had for her
Mhm.
in this game. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah,
I think talking about Rob and like talking about him compared to the gamer, like I think this episode kind of really highlights that, especially during the dagger game that they played at the end of the mission, where like that was like my moment where I was like, damn, that was hot, where Rob just like immediately clocks that Natalie is the one that's lying. And like Natalie is not like a bad liar, right? Like, she's a Survivor winner. She's generally considered maybe like a top 10 to 15 Survivor player of all time. She's very, very good at these games in general. And I think the fact that he was so easily able to just catch her out on a lie with so little information and be so confident about it and be correct was like really, really impressive. And I think talking about like him being the best player of the season, to me, this felt very like Coronation edity, if we're talking from that perspective. Like this was like we are showing you like just how good he is and like why he's like going to win, and whether he wins or not, we'll see.
Yeah, I really want to root for Candace, but like I don't know what she's gonna do from here. If you guys want to see, like, you should look up Candace versus Monique on Real Housewives of Potomac. She gets into a brawl, and like Candace, like, don't mess with Candace. Like she doesn't take crap from anyone, and I think she's really going to make it her mission to like get rid of Rob now. And like, I mean, her writing his name down, menace behavior for sure. But like, I don't know. I just feel like she's just really gonna like go in on Rob now, and I think Rob should be a little afraid of her.
I think it's the give and take you have when you have a game like this, which I think we talked about it last season too. The actual gameplay mechanics of this game still need to be worked out. It's not always necessarily fair. It's also not always necessarily like even well thought out beyond when it's being played, where I don't have a problem with what went on with Jam yelling out Lisa's name. I think that was obviously one. It was really entertaining. It was hilarious, just the visual of watching him getting like led away. Obviously, he's not going to be actually murdered, but it felt like that for a second. And I think like the theatrics of the game naturally put it a little bit more over the top than it would be with like a Survivor or a Big Brother, where it's part of the show. But I don't think you can have it both ways with having all gamers or like all housewives. I think it creates that interesting dynamic where the housewives are obviously like grossly faithful to each other, like to a point where you can't play an actual game where you have housewives and other players in it, because it's like the dynamics just don't line up. But I think for a game like this, it's a lot of fun. It makes it really interesting. I think having that clash of gamers, non-gamers creates this own ecosystem for Traitors that I would honestly probably hate in something like Survivor or like Big Brother, because I think it adds just that dramatic over the topness that I like about this show the most. Do I want somebody like Rob, who's playing a really good game, to win? Yes. I actually think Candice was playing relatively good up until this point. I think Lisa was doing pretty decent up until this point. I think that natural selection with Lisa taking the pin kind of put her into this situation where obviously this was the right choice for Rob to go after her, especially when he already did. But I think it's unfortunate for Candice because she is not a reality gamer person, that she went with the emotional pick. But I think that's also part of why I like this game, like I said, because it adds an element where it's probably going to be completely her undoing, and hopefully, honestly, it might be a shared mutual destruction between her and Rob, where if they don't get it together, I'm not sure either of them can survive it. And I think that if either one of them go on to win this game, I think overcoming what had happened in this episode puts them both, honestly, probably as the two more impressive players I've seen since watching Traitors, because that would be insane. It just feels like maybe Rob has a little bit more juice to do that. But I am very excited for the drama that's going to unfold next week, because I have seen clips of Candice. I have heard Candice is not to be played with, and I am now excited for that. But I'm rooting for Rob to overcome it. I'm rooting for them both to overcome, because like I said, I like the Traitors a lot in this season. The Faithfuls do not deserve a win at this point. They just do not.
No, I think the Traitors have been doing great. And I would really like to see Candice and Rob mend it and figure it out, because I feel like if they start going for each other, then if one of them gets banished, then they're gonna have to recruit another traitor. And like I have like a very love-hate with that process, because like I don't want Rob to like recruit Colton or something like that. Like no, I can't. And so, but I feel like Candice, if she had to recruit someone, I feel like she would recruit someone good and then kind of keep them and then nix them at the end. I feel like that would probably be her only chance of winning. But I think Rob probably has a better chance of winning than she does, because Candice is strategic minded in a like dramatic sense. Rob is just straight up strategic. So I feel like he's gonna work this in his favor. And I'm curious to see if Candice can actually go after him instead.
Yeah, I think that her voting for Rob at the round table was she did vote for Rob, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
She was the only one.
I was like, okay, well, why would she do that other than if they were both traitors and Rob was betraying? Will this group of faithful pick up on it? I can't say for sure.
Probably
I don't
not.
know if I have the most faith in them,
No.
but I feel like if I was there, I'd be like, that's weird. What a random vote to do, you know?
But I think it did help that Dorinda also randomly voted for Moira, who
That's true.
So it maybe it could just be played off like the two housewives did throwaway votes because they didn't want to vote for Lisa, even though they like realized that it was Lisa.
Yeah.
Right.
I think Dorinda too. The things that have come out about Dorinda between with Ron, there's no way to verify it. Dorinda is probably my least favorite player left in the game right now. And I also think that she is just a terrible faithful, clearly. I don't think that she has really necessarily gotten one selection right yet. That's a point I didn't necessarily fully consider until now, Ben, that I guess like you have one housewife out. I think it was brought up by somebody in this episode. I think maybe Colton, even though Colton just throws everybody's name in every possible scenario out, so he doesn't get the credit in my eyes, that it's a potentially an all housewife turret, which if you like kind of do the math after the fact of having Dorinda and Candice both vote for somebody who is who was clearly not the target. I think and when Lisa was, which once again, I loved Lisa. I thought Lisa was
Yeah.
great. I thought her final confessional was really genuine, which I really enjoyed that too. I thought that
Mhm.
she was like the kind of like the iconic traitor of this season, which I think they were maybe hoping Donna Kelsey was going to be, but clearly she wasn't. So props to Lisa. I think Lisa won me over a lot. But back to that thought about the housewives, I am a little bit sick of the housewife thing going on of like being grossly loyal to each other. So I'm hoping that helps Rob, because I didn't really think about that until you said that, Ben, of that throwaway, basically what was a throwaway vote. If he is the player I want him to be in terms of gamer wise, then he needs to capitalize on that immediately.
Yeah, that was smart for the housewives to do that though, because people were giving Lisa crap all season for voting Portia. So it's like they didn't want to do the same thing that people were giving Lisa crap for, and it's like they could have voted for her and just gone with the majority, but like people are already in on the housewives sticking up for housewives thing. So like if they voted for her, they would just be adding fuel to that fire. So they probably did the best thing with the throwaway vote.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like the issue with like I didn't love the throwaway vote from Cam. I would have preferred her to just vote for Colton. I think that probably made more sense.
Yeah.
If she was going to not vote for Lisa, because the issue is like, say she accomplishes her goal and gets Rob banished next, which is like already going to be a big hill to climb. Like now that vote followed by Rob being banished as a traitor the next round makes it look like she's a traitor, right? Like, and there's just like very little upside to that. It felt kind of just like a petty kind of jab, more so than like a strategic thing. Like from what I'm talking about like as a throwaway vote with her and Dorinda, like that's more of like how somebody like Rob could play it off and be like, yeah, neither of them wanted to vote for Lisa, they just wanted to get rid of their votes. So I don't know. I didn't love it. It felt like more of an emotional decision than a strategic decision, which I can understand in that moment, being like frustrated that that Rob is turning on Lisa. Yeah,
that would be something Candace would do. She would act with her emotions for sure. So
yeah.
It was also probably the least strategic decision she could have made. So it definitely was an emotional decision. Because like I said, it feels that they are now set up for her more so than Rob. They're definitely now set up to a point where it's potentially going to be what happened at the end of last season with Danielle and Boston Rob and Carolyn, where once they started going at each other, it completely unfolded because neither one was willing to kind of budge on that. And I feel like more so now it is going to be way more of an indictment on Candace than Rob. But I just don't think that Candace will allow herself to go down without somehow taking down Rob with her, which it could be entertaining. It'll be frustrating from a gameplay perspective. But then again, like we said, a majority of the gameplay this season has been pretty awful. And I think that outside of what's gone on in the turret, it's been abysmal from Faithfuls. So I think you can have a really fun and endearing season where it's all awful gameplay if it's entertaining, which is what we've gotten to this point. It would be nice to get that entertainment, to have our cake and eat it too, with a gamer like Rob winning it. But like I said, I generally do not want the Faithfuls to win at this point, unless they have a dramatic change. They've just been awful. They've been so off. Colton has been really bad. Obviously, I think it was kind of like a ha he at first. And then, he was not able to deliver. He's throwing names out everywhere. It's not easy to root for. I think Natalie, this episode, like I said, really the whole thing with the poison, once again, I can appreciate getting into a game and being thematic about it all, but generally acting like you're going to die. And I think throwing away your game the way she did was wild to see. I don't know if they're told to really buy into that situation. I don't know if they're told something's going to happen here where you really need to get into it. I understand your life is on the line, and a lot of these people are much more wealthier than some of the other players that there are. So that's something to consider too, especially with the housewives. I think I ended up looking net worth. I think Dorinda and Lisa are both over 10 million. I think Candace is below that. So there's a lot of people that are also extremely wealthy. So it's tough to feel bad for them. And I find it's probably tough for them to get into when it is time to be killed or to be banished, that you're like that upset when you know you're just going home to a bunch of money. But there are people in this game who are probably not very wealthy at all, who desperately need to win it. So I understand wanting to be being terrified in that moment, but I think that Natalie, that was a little strange. Jam on the other hand, loved it. I loved him like being led away to his death and throwing any name he could out there. It was very funny that he was dead on just with the complete wrong reason of what had happened.
I know, and I watched the clip back of when like Lisa kissed his cheek, and it wasn't like anything crazy different than what she did with anyone else too. So I was like, I wrote in my notes, I said the kiss of death ? But I don't think that was a valid enough argument. However, again, it was like, well, they were still kind of on the money with her anyway, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. But
she also just wasn't a good actor. That's like she wasn't good at selling it, I don't think.
Which is funny because she is an actress.
Yes.
For many years, actually.
It's a tough spot.
Yeah.
It is a tough spot to be on the put in the spotlight like that. I think like she definitely was defensive in a really like kind of in a way that made it seem like she was guilty. But I also can get the frustration if like you're her and like he's right for like he used the wrong formula, did the math wrong, but still somehow got the right solution kind of deal. Like that's probably not a really great way to go out. Like if he had said oh, she made me fix her brooch, like then she'd be like, oh, okay, I got caught. I didn't do my job effectively enough. He figured it out. But like for him to say the wrong reason and still accuse her, I feel like probably is like really
right. And he interacted with her like 5 different times. Like it could have been anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, on top of that too, like the other thing is when if you are kind of segmented into these little groups that are kind of having their own discussions or whatever, which is what it seemed like was happening, and like maybe that was like the group that was kind of mingling was Lisa and then these 3 people that were on her short list, assuming that short list was real and not like a fabrication of the edit. It's like Jam has basically like limited suspects available to him. If he spent most of his time interacting with Lisa and like very little time interacting with like half of the other people, then it's not a bad shot to take.
Yeah. And then also at the banquet, well, first of all, now that we're kind of talking about that, I felt like the banquet was going to be way more like lengthy in the episode. It was pretty like a lot quicker than I thought it was going to be. It wasn't as like extravagant as I thought. I mean, it was fine, but I was also thrown off with people like randomly starting to go after Steven and being like, Steven served me turkey. I'm like, oh no. Like, I don't know. I feel like he's a very random person for them all just to start mentioning. He hasn't really done, I mean, and we haven't seen him do much of anything. So I felt that was a very random person. Like, I feel like there was multiple random occurrences at the banquet. And then Jam was just right on the money with Lisa. Not yes, but no.
I did like how they purposely set up certain things like where they were not being served food, I think, right? Because they ended up like eyeing Steven for serving them the turkey, the turkey of death. They had the cards, which Steven also happened to say, hey, somebody go flip those cards. Yeah. Which is like Steven, unfortunately, was just kind of caught in like the worst situations for himself after really not being at the forefront of the season at all. In that moment, I very much would also have probably thought that he was a traitor for a second. In terms of like the kill itself, unfortunately, it really is designed for one person, right? You can have other people feed into it, but like I see a big complaint online that Rob has not done anything as a traitor, that he like didn't help out at all at these the murder in plain sight. I don't really know what you want. Like you want Rob to be going up to people like, hey, go touch Lisa's pin. Isn't that great? Like that doesn't fit with who Rob has been compared to Lisa and the rest of the game. It's like even Candace really can't. This wasn't the hokey pokey line. What was it? The
conga line.
The conga line.
Yeah.
This wasn't even a
Hokey-pokey.
situation where you can throw something stupid out like that, where it's like, hey,
Yeah.
everybody go touch each other's pins. And obviously you want to be calculated with who is taking it too, which I think Jam Jam for the most part was a good pick up until he put it together somehow in his head at the end. I think the Jam Jam made sense. Get a gamer out. It's kind of a random kill at that point too, outside of him being a gamer. So I think it all made sense. But I guess I don't know what you want Rob or even Candace to do in that situation. Because I think if what happened, which was Lisa was found out somehow, immediately you're looking at who helped initiate those interactions, which would have been Rob and Candace. I just think, some like this game, I've said the gameplay isn't always fair and it isn't always good. But if it's a gameplay that is unfortunately unfair to one person and not to other traders, I don't think the two other traders necessarily have to completely bring their game down with the traders just because they're traders.
Right.
I don't think a lot of people who both watch the show and people in the game realize that a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think I've noticed the same thing. We see this as well with Candace a lot herself this episode in her confessionals. But yeah, like also there's a segment of people who think that the Traitors is a team game when it's not. It's an individual game. It's like masquerading as a team game. And like, yes, there can be multiple winners, but like productively, there's usually last season I think was an anomaly where we had 4 winners, but usually there is 1 to 2 winners coming out of the season, and you kind of have to play selfishly in order to succeed. And this is like, this is not is super different than other kind of similar social strategy games where you can't destroy your own game to save somebody who is like already dead, basically.
Yeah.
And on top of that, in particular with Rob's situation here, even from the beginning with the composition of this turret, like he needed to get one of Lisa or Candace out around this point in order to have any shot of winning, simply because like yeah, maybe the 2 of them are saying, hey, the 3 of us to the end, the 3 of us will split the win. It's like, you can't trust that. Like, that's just like an unnecessary risk to take if you're Rob, because like if they are going to turn on one of themselves in the end game, it's going to be him.
It's him, yeah.
So like
he needed to get one of them out.
Yeah.
And it was getting down to it.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people concerned too that Colton is going to be recruited. I don't think that Rob could have a worse recruit than Colton, honestly.
Yeah.
The only reason I could see to recruit him is because he's a man. Because like both the Traitors that have been banished so far have been women. Candace, assuming she gets banished in the next couple of rounds, also going to be a woman. So like from like a meta perspective, Rob might want like a man that he can like push out the door in front of him as a sacrifice. And like maybe that's Colton.
I mean, Colton certainly has more heat on him than Rob does.
Yeah. So like that's the only
He'd be a good
argument I can
recruitment for Rob, I think.
Yeah.
As a deflection.
I just don't want Colton to have the title.
Yeah. I think because I think people see potentially that Rob and Colton maybe aren't close, but they have sort of like a bromance going on. I think honestly, one, I think Colton is potentially a smart kill tonight, which I think it's a strong possibility that Colton is the person that is murdered. I think then it gets to a point though of how much of a read does Candace have on Rob and people that he is close to, that he has an alliance with. I don't know if she has that gauge or not, compared to what we see at home. But I think Colton would be an awful recruit. I guess if you assume maybe potentially he recruits another male, I think Mark would be a really great recruit for him because it doesn't seem like there's any heat on Mark at all. I was trying to think about any other, especially
I think Steven.
Steve, well, after this episode, obviously Steven makes me a little nervous, but yeah, I guess Steven might be that perfect like deflection. Brian just said too, of there's not the heat to back up Steven outside of that banquet, but if you get him out, then it's kind of like you really don't. There's no connection there. You just can't have the connection, and that's the mistake that Danielle made last year with Brittany, is that you can't have that connection. You have to make that selection purely strategically. You can't have any other emotions in it. And so I really hope he doesn't recruit Colton. Colton's getting a lot of airtime, but I feel like Colton's being set up to potentially be one of the last remaining faithfuls that get blindsided when they go to reveal at the end.
I agree. That's kind of been the read that I've landed on too. Is it feels like it's going to be Rob and Colton at the end, and then Colton's going to get blindsided that Rob is a traitor.
And I would love that. I would love that. Very much.
I think
more entertaining.
That ending.
Yeah.
I did not realize the drama that surrounded Colton outside of this game until I looked into it. So
yeah, it's pretty brutal.
And I just don't think that he has played a good game, like I said. And I think in the end, I really enjoy the drama and some of the sloppy gameplay leads to the drama. I want somebody who has played the best game to win. I don't want the faithfuls to win. So
yeah, that's a very fair point. They just don't deserve it.
Outside of that, the only thing I thought, because you brought up I thought the banquet would also be longer. I think that like the flow of this episode was really interesting. Once again, the editing I think is great. I think the editing has been really, really impressive. The production obviously has been really impressive, but it's always been impressive. I think the editing has been great this season. I think the flow of this episode, not having a murder in the beginning, right? Was this the episode that there was no murder in the beginning?
Well, this
no, but they technically it was the
sorry,
banquet.
Yeah. So yeah. I think starting out that different was fun. I think with the challenge and then I think we got a longer than we usually do time outside of the challenge to discuss the banishment or the roundtable. So that was fun. I like them mixing it up, but and obviously we're only 4 seasons into the U.S. Traitors. I know there's the UK Traitors that has established itself a little bit more gameplay wise, but it does feel like that they're trying to pull in those audiences from all these different shows outside of just like Survivor and Big Brother. They clearly want to get everybody with the Housewives and Love Island. That they want that audience. It feels like they're probably also critiquing and fine tuning the show before they head into an all non-celebrity cast next season. Which I can dig. I do think that I think everything this season has been more well designed than we saw in season 3. I think that a lot of my complaints last year was like the actual game itself. But I think that the game design this year has clearly gotten better. And like I like them trying this thing. I like the poison that added interesting element with Natalie, and with is it Kristen, the chef? Is that that's their name? I thought that was all great, and I think if they can find more ways of doing that, and like I said, sometimes the games themselves are just unfair. That's life. So if there is an unfair game, it is what it is. Sometimes you've seen them in Survivor all the time with losing votes and not being able to and losing votes and people stealing votes and all that. So sometimes games themselves are naturally just unfair. But I think next year is like the real test, because we have the personalities, and naturally there will be personalities that are born out of the game, but I wonder how this game will do when we don't have like the previous history that some of the players have.
But I think it's smart for them to do it now, because the show's already gained a ton of following. So for them to do a civilian season is actually going to probably be great, because people are going to want to see this. And the civilians, they actually want the money. They actually need the money. So like they're going to do whatever it takes to get the money. So
like I would find it very hard for myself to live in a world where Lisa Rinna is like winning the game as a traitor against like 2 people that work like regular jobs. Yeah. So I think they saw with Suri winning too. I think that's like I don't think you can have the mixture of both.
All those civilians right at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Suri's not like a multi-millionaire though, right? Like, she's never won a show before. Like she's playing like appearances and stuff. Like she's
played on. When she played on Big Brother and when she's played on past seasons of Survivor, I mean, it's kind of the same deal. Like especially when she played on Big Brother, it was like she was just Suri on Big Brother, and like all these other people were playing for the first time. So it's like it's kind of a similar concept where like you already have. I mean, granted, both games it's all about her, and it's not like people are keeping her there. So it's still all about social strategy and like getting people to trust you. But
since that her estimated net worth heading into that trader season was 500K to $1 million, which obviously like I'll take that. But I think even still,
No,
relatively
that's
in the
even
economy,
correct.
that's
Like-
not, if it's
Not
correct one.
insane, yeah.
And then also, I think that winning 250K or whatever she ended up winning is still that's a life-changing amount of money, even if you're still a little bit well off. But I think when you get into the millions, when you get into the 5s and 10s of millions of net worth, I think that's when you kind of have to kind of either completely suspend your belief with these people want to win this money rather than just winning the game, or you have to face reality of we have like a millionaire that is like Hunger Games-ish taking money out of normal people's pockets.
Yeah, we got to kill District 1 immediately. They've added too good.
And I think to what you brought up though, Ben, if we get into an all-star season where we then have players that played really well in a all civilian season meshed with the players that we saw in this season, which is kind of like I forget when Survivor did their fans versus favorites one. Was that like there were like 8, like how many seasons there were? 16.
It was season 16, yeah.
So they once again, those players, a lot of the players that played that were not millionaires, but I think that once you get the all-stars from these seasons meshed with some civilian all-stars, that could be a lot of fun. And I think that the longevity is there for this game too. Assuming reality TV is on that resurgence that we always talk about.
Be cool to see someone beyond the civilian season and then get upgraded to the reality. But I do think this season was really important for this version of the Traitors to kind of reset, because they kind of established like, okay, there's going to be 1 or 2 gamers who are Traitors. And this year they're like, there's no gamers. It's housewives and Rob from Love Island. Like, it really brings it back to be like, it could be anybody. Like,
Donna Kelsey.
Yeah, it could be Donna Kelsey. Yeah. Forgot about her. Sorry.
I don't know if you guys picked up on this or talked about it. Donna Kelsey 100% sat out that challenge.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We think that she was like kind of a setup to be eliminated. She was on the show for the traction and to just like say that she did it, but ultimately she was not going to be able to do the challenges. So
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Especially this challenge was so hard. Like, it looked terrible. It looks like a challenge from the show The Challenge more than a Traitors challenge.
Yeah, no, I think I saw a lot of people complaining about the Jams able to talk after the murder happens, like a game mechanic complaint or like a game design complaint. Dylan said he had no issue with that. I didn't have any issue with that. It was good TV. My game design complaint from this episode was having a mission where the ultimate goal is a really powerful advantage, and then having the mission be extremely physical to the point where it was literally just all of the men plus Natalie, who was like a CrossFit
so in shape. Yeah.
So it's like none of the less fit women had any chance of winning this advantage, which I thought was not compelling.
I would have given up halfway through for sure.
Yeah.
Just take my rocks. Just take them.
Yeah.
I think they need to mix it. I mean, they do. They do have more that are like puzzle driven, but I feel like a lot of the times those are more team oriented than when you, to your point, Ben, when you have a very powerful advantage when that's on the line. Naturally, we've seen other game shows too, though. Sometimes there are physical challenges versus mental challenges. But I agree. I think when it comes down to this, there has to be some sort of buff, either for the players that are not as physically gifted, or vice versa for players that are not good at puzzles and challenges like that. I agree. Like I said, those are the things that I think that they have to work out. I don't think maybe, but every season, if you want the mixture of, you don't want all young people that are young and like decently in shape. Like you want the mixture of having old, young, blue collar, white collar, like you want that. And I think if you need that, you have to figure out a balance with these challenges. And a lot of the times the challenges are just not important, right? It's adding money. And like in the end, it's not ultra important to the actual game itself that's going on. Sometimes you get things you can pay attention to with who wants shields, who doesn't. But I feel like even that itself has become so meta with a lot of people playing that they're like, we saw when people had a chance to steal the shield or not. I just don't think that people want to risk it at that point to expose themselves. So yeah, there has to be something. They got to figure that out, because it can't be like that every time. I'm not saying they have to have Survivor level challenges where people are up there for hours. I don't think a lot of these people that are playing would want to do that, but maybe when we have a full civilian season, maybe they will.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind really physical missions. I just didn't like that they had a really physical mission tied to a really powerful advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think, like, you know, if you're gonna have an advantage like this tied to the mission has to be the mission has to be a little more equitable.
Mhm.
I agree.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anything else we didn't touch on that you guys wanted to?
Just that Lisa Winna walked out like a queen.
Yeah, she's fun.
She did her whole like bye-bye and bless her.
I think everything about Lisa's exit was great. I think that I when she was out, so it didn't matter. I don't think she's holding on to the bitterness that I would assume somebody like her might have. I think that she really seemed like she enjoyed playing it. I think that final confession, like I said, was great. I think that was very, very genuine from somebody that I imagine lives in like a somewhat very superficial world a lot of the time. So I think that was really cool. No, I think, I'm very excited for Rob versus Candace. I don't think that it's something that is going to resolve. I think it's something that is going to be the last man standing between the two of them. Seems like there is some like social media stuff going on between them. Not sure if you guys saw that. Don't really want to talk about
a little bit of it, yeah.
because I do think that it's somewhat of an inclination of what goes on. But I'm really looking forward to it. I think once again, the past like 6 months for us on this channel has been great. Between Survivor, we're now heading into what has been a great season of Traitors. We're heading into what is one of the more important seasons of Survivor coming up, and then we head into, I think there's something in the summer, right? There's something in the summer for you guys, not a show I watch. I forget what it is.
Love Island.
Love
Love Island, Big Brother. So
Although, like, even like coming off of Big Brother 27 was like an incredible season of Big Brother, and like
Survivor Australia was Survivor Australia versus the world. I think
the world, yeah.
It's been a very, very good year.
House of
reality
Villains
TV.
season 3 is coming. I want to cover that if anyone wants to do that.
Yeah, should be fun.
Tom Sandoval will be there, Dylan.
I'll be your Tom Sandoval correspondent.
I'm out.
I'll be around for you guys.
We got Tyson's on that, and then Paul from Big Brother as well.
We got the House of the, or not House. Well, I guess it was House of the Dragon. Now it's just a Westeros podcast. Ryan and I do, where we cover the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So yeah, lots of stuff on this channel.
Not exactly reality TV, but I love the Olympics. It's obviously not something we're covering, but
that's starting like this week, right?
It's Friday, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's Friday. Oh wow.
Yep.
Who knew? It came up fast.
It comes up so fast.
That's why so many people were speculating that they were going to do a shortened Big Brother winter season in February, because a lot of the times they'll do winter seasons of Big Brother opposite the Olympics, but no dice.
Should have done it. We would have covered it. CBS, come on.
Yep.
Feed the people. We're hungry.
Yeah.
Last special winter season of Big Brother was so dramatic that it bled over into the Traitors. So.
Yep. All right. Well, Ben, anything you want to promote before we get out of here?
No, I mean, very excited for the rest of the season. I think that hopefully the heat that it's brought so far continues. We got less than a month left of the season, and then less than a month left before Survivor 50, which I'm also extremely excited for.
Same. Julia, same thing. Floor's yours.
I will be dropping episode 2 of my new podcast, The Shore Thing, on Spotify, hopefully in the next couple of days. So we're excited about that.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
And Dylan, anything you want to promote?
Once again, the blindsiders outside of this podcast and my family are the 3 most important things in my life. Season 50 is ramping up. We are less than a month away. We have been getting kind of a treasure trove of pregame stuff that I'm like trying to consume in moderation, not to, 1, oversaturate myself with these players, and 2, kind of just to extend it out to February 25th. But I am very excited for that, and I think that that is going to be a great season for our podcast. I am like fingers crossed. I think that's going to be a great season for Survivor. And it's just it's kind of the pinnacle of the hard work we've done leading up to this point of being consistent with these podcasts. I think having a very major season of reality TV like that happen is going to be a lot of fun for us. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, crazy long stretch of no All-Star seasons for us to cover. But now it's finally here, so very excited for that. As for me, main channel, Wicked Everything, Those Fake Nerds for nerd pop culture news, Wicked Sports for sports news. This is, of course, Better Radio, and we also have History is Wicked. So thanks for checking these all out, and we'll see you in the next one.